I like to tell you one simile, which I do use it quite often. It's about the 5 realms. Usually I more talk about, not so much in a metaphysical way, about 5 realms as we read in the suttas, but in more about 5 realms of the mind. We know from the texts that there exist hell, animal realm, ghosts, humans, and heaven. Of course, those 5 realms are also metaphysical. The Buddha was discussing them as from where we were born or where we can be born. All depends on our action or our intention. If our intention is inclined towards unwholesomeness, then the Buddha was warning us of the lower realms, like ghosts and animals, or even a hell. And when he was talking about virtue, he said that there were going to be fruits of our action as well, and that's going to lead you to heavenly realm. But we don't have to just talk about in metaphysical way, but also in present time, something which is close to us, something more present. So we talk about 5 realms. Let me quickly describe those 5 places, 5 worlds. First one is hell. In the hell, we hear quite often in many traditions and religions that there is a lot of burning and a lot of cutting. But the interesting thing is, who is there that is doing all the burning and cutting? Actually, there's no one there. They themselves, those beings in the hell, are cutting and burning themselves. So it works like that. They see a nice, shiny, bright fire. They see just only a beautiful aspects of it, and immediately go for it, jump for it, grab it, without realizing the consequences of their action. They don't realize the consequences of the desire and passion. So their mind is very narrow, very limited. They overreacted. They just follow the desire, and it's immediately painful consequences. But they don't change it. They go again and again for it. The same about cutting. They see just the nice shiny razor and they hold it tightly. It cuts them, but they don't see why. They just see the pleasant aspect of it, and they get cut again and again and again. So that's the hell realm. In animal realm, one of the lowest animal realms is a moth or a fly going around the flame. So they're a little bit more careful that in the hell realm, but just a question of time when they fly into the flame and they get burned. So they didn't immediately go into it with a little bit of consideration, but still they got burned. So similar aspect is for the whole animal realm. Some are more developed, some less. So a general factor about animal realm is they do act immediately. When there's a danger, they can attack or run. Animals, they don't really plan the future. They don't really think about the consequences of the action. They don't really know what is wholesome and unwholesome. The best we can see is in the dogs, when actually one of the highest developed animals, but still they're actually trained. They don't know for themselves what is good or bad. So that's about animal realm. Again, very limited of the mind is pretty much very limited. Again, follow the passion, follow desires, and they feel also consequences of it. The next realm is a ghost realm. Sometimes we say hungry ghost realm. Sometimes they are in images described as the beings with a very small mouth, long, thin neck, and they have a very big belly. They're a little bit more developed than animals. They can already manipulate the future. This means that they know what to do to get certain results, but it's all about satisfying their own desires. It's about how to take advantage of others, how to they don't really consider the welfare of others. They're more concerned about their own welfare. So they can be manipulative. They can take advantage of you. But if you give them some gifts, they might be protective of you. So friends for pay, let's say. So they're already kind of discerning, but they go pretty much for selfish reasons, their own desires. In the human realm knows quite well what's good and bad, what is good and evil. And quite often in human realm, it's common that we always play where the boundaries are. We always playing with the edge between good and evil and testing it out. But also human realm, we know better that we're more careful about the consequences of our action. We can plan better. We can also plan the family. Rather like animal realms they cannot plan the family. They also, the difference between human and animal realm is that humans also they have sense of respect for elderly, while that maybe it seems that animals don't really consider respect for elderly. And then another realm, the last one, is heavenly realm. So in heavenly realm is quite contrary to the hell realm. They're quite aware of consequences of their action. They're so aware that they can see very far of what little action present time can have consequences in the real long term. So, for example, in the heavenly realm, they really honor generosity. For them, it actually makes more sense to give up something now, and maybe you don't really want to give up, but you do give up because you see in the long term it gives you the happiness, release, and pleasure. So also heavenly realm is lasting for very long time, long periods, and they're living in a lot of pleasure and happiness. So that's very briefly talking about 5 realms. But as you noted probably already now, that these 5 realms are already within the human existence. Some people unfortunately are in hell realm. They are immediately jumping for things and they get hurt. And when they get hurt, they don't see any other way to go out from it than keep following their desires and then resentment, their passion and their anger. And they going to repeat it over and over and over again. And they know how to get out from it. It's like one of the worst state of addiction. And then some humans are like animals, pretty much greedy. They are like dogs who are biting, licking those bones, thinking they'll get some pleasure, they'll get satisfied from it. But they never get full by licking the bone. They're just like empty. And some humans are like hungry ghosts. They may be more careful, more manipulative, deceiving, again, just following their stomach, satisfying their stomach, just satisfying their own desires. But, if they get some advantage from other people, if they get paid well, or get some other benefits from others, they might be protective of you. But they're not going to be really wholesome friendship in it. Some humans are really humans. And those humans, you would say, they at least keep 5 precepts. So they don't kill. They don't take what is not given. They don't they don't do sexual misconducts. They don't speak wrong speech. They don't lie. And they don't drink alcohols and take other substances which leads to carelessness. So they're very careful. If they start breaking those 5 precepts, it's basically leading their action more towards lower realms. They can become more ghosts and animals in the hell realm. They don't keep 5 precepts. So if humans are inclined into breaking the 5 precepts, if they cheat, if they lie, if they steal, if they kill, that's actually behavior of the lower 3 realms. So there's a main feature about what it means to be a human, and really try to live a wholesome life. Doesn't mean you'll fail in wholesomeness, but definitely honors the wholesomeness and tries to do the best of it. And some humans are really like godly. They're really like Devata. They're really happy. They're really cheerful. They're really bright people. And those people are usually kind. They know how important it is to be kind to other people, how not to hurt others. They know that actually hurting others will just bring more troubles in your life in the long term. So they know how important it is to restrain, not to act. Don't act on your impulsiveness. You don't just go for desire and don't just react when you feel a little bit resentful. They know how important it is to be good and a wholesome being. And for example, one of the important factors about heavenly realm is generosity, like I said before. So they like to give. They know that just being greedy and accumulating things and keeping for yourself are just going to burden you, and you start being protective and selfish and losing friends. But actually giving your things which you don't need and you see can benefit to others, you freely give to others. And then that's unburdening, that's liberating. And it's the best investment because material gains are impermanent. And if you invest material gain for something bigger, better, like you invest into friendship, you invest in something which is good, which is wholesome, which gives a message of goodness. When material gain is lost, though that goodness is coming back to you, and you're not going to be so attached. You're not going to be, there's basically then nothing to lose. Such kind of happiness of release cannot be lost because it's not made by material things. It's not made in the worldly ways. So another thing is about heavenly realm is its sense of patience. So the god of gods, Indra, is very known to be very patient, tolerant, and kind. So that's about heavenly people. In my life, in your life, we all seen those 5 kinds of people who live within those kind of 5 realms of the mind. We've seen people in the hell, in the animal realm, in the ghost realm, in the human, and godly people. And from here, then we also can talk about those 5 realms in metaphysical way. What happens when we die? Well, we go where we are. If our general setup of the mind, it's like being in the animal realm, there is going to go. There you're going to go. When our setup or our inclination is more towards a ghost realm, where we go then? We go where we are, in the ghost realm. The same with heavenly realm. So our good qualities is going to show results, showing results now, and is going to show results in the future, and also probably in next lives. So we don't have to wait what's going to happen. Also, we don't have to pray, to ask someone for happy results. There's no Saint Peter in the sitting next to the door of the heaven try to make a judgment, are you going up or down? And you can't really hoping that he's going to be kind to you. There's no one there. It's just you. It's just you acting in the way, in certain act, in such kind of acts, leads you to that result. And that's a good news. Good news that you don't have to hope and pray and being afraid about it, but also it's a bad news because nobody's going to help you. It's really up to you. And this is very good reflection about those 5 realms. Think about that. Think about that regularly. Reflect in which realm are you? What is your general inclination? Is your general inclination to be more selfish or very generous? Is going to be or is inclined towards wholesomeness or unwholesomeness? Are you reactive? Are you immediately follow your impulses? And when you feel like a pleasant feeling, do you immediately grab for it? And when you feel a painful feeling, do you feel immediately resentful? Or are you more patient? So, but that's not something to be now judgmental about it. But this kind of contemplation, it leads you to more transparency, honesty. You reflect really honestly and transparently into your heart. Where are you at the moment? A lot of people recognize that already, but they're not prepared to look into it. But if you're not prepared to look into it, then there's not going to be any progress. But to start with the practice, we have to be very open and transparent. Look into it, where we are now. And then, hopefully, there is going to be a sense of urgency. And we realize how responsible we are for our action. That we cannot just hope that everything will be all right. So we take responsibility and we try to improve. If our inclination is towards a hungry ghost, with our best that we don't act like that we don't stay there, but we improve. We improve with our virtue, we improve our generosity, with kindness, and developing the mind. So now it's really all up to you.